Zidon Danny, Electro Ninja here, and welcome back to Electro Ninja's Lab. Yes, I know I'm late on these two videos, the video that you're watching right now, as well as the video that's going to be coming out later today, which will be releasing at noon, I believe? Yeah, noon. Noon PST. So, look forward to seeing that video. But yes, today's videos is this one, which is the episode review of the latest episode of My Hero Academia, and then we have the chapter review for, obviously, the latest chapter of My Hero Academia. And oh boy, things are getting insane. Now, first off, I want to just quickly address why these videos didn't release when they usually would. First off, Saturday, when the episode came out, and when I would have recorded this video, I happened to have to go to San Francisco for reasons, and that took up most of my day, meaning that I couldn't record this, and so on and so forth. And as for the chapter review, obviously it was Mother's Day, so didn't want to record, well, during that time. So, anyways, let's actually talk about this latest episode, which I believe was episode 95. Now, I would also like to briefly mention that my next My Hero video is actually going to be a little thought about what could be happening for episode 100, since we're coming up really close to that episode. And honestly, considering the fact that it's going from 2 digits into the 3 digits, I honestly can't imagine them not at least doing something big for that. So, yeah. But anyways, let's actually talk about this chapter. Now, to start off with, we get a lot of really interesting information happening. I've said it before, but these episodes add so much to just like the little details that were originally in the manga, but they've basically been adding on to it every single episode, with really the only ones that they didn't do that much for being the first battle as well as the second battle. The second battle still had some of it, but it wasn't to the degree that it was within this battle. And not to mention, there was also a lot more to do with the in-between segments. Especially this time. In the previous... In the manga, I believe, it's basically just 1 to 2 pages. Let me actually make sure of this. Yeah, so basically, it can that whole part consists of 4 pages, basically 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's it. But in this, they add a lot of little details, such as frickin' Uraraka getting embarrassed, a lot of discussion between Mineta and Mina. And honestly, it's kind of interesting, to say the least. It's actually also a bit surprising, because I'm actually noticing a lot more as we continue through this arc that Mineta has gotten a lot better. Usually, every time that we see him, he's goggling the girls and all of this jazz, but really he doesn't do that much during this arc. And sure, he does... he is a little bit of a pervert around Mina later in this arc, being really bad. But that's pretty much it from this point until where we are currently in the manga. I mean, sure, it also has to do with the fact that Mineta is hardly involved with this entire arc, but that's it. This is the last time that Mineta is pervy at all. the only time that we see him after this is during the war arc, in which he is not pervy at all. He's obviously a bit more terrified because it's the war arc, but it's rather shocking how little he's actually involved and all that jazz. We then move on to actually dealing with the battle, which, to start off with, the anime adds this whole new segment with Endeavor chasing down a villain, which in the manga, all we get to see is just the end of it, where he is talking to his teammates, and more than likely he hasn't even been as far as we know, he's not even dealing with an actual supervillain. He's just walking out of his agency at the time, which insane. And sure, a lot of the battle was pretty straightforward, with a little bit more workarounds to basically make things flow more smoothly, but that's pretty much it in that terms. But in the same degree, this battle just feels different. Even from the, like, as someone who has read this whole read this whole arc, I know that there's a lot of really interesting factors, and what is going on is rather interesting, to just be completely clear. But it's still a bit odd. Also, I briefly want to bring up Pony. There is a lot of just hilarity when it comes to Pony. And a lot of that humor is actually lost if you're going to be watching the episode in English when it eventually comes out, as well as if you just read the manga. Obviously, if you're someone who is reading the manga in English, obviously everything is going to be in English, so it doesn't really matter. But because of the fact that Pony is one of those characters that is, well, an English speaker, a lot of her humor that we have, because of the fact that she only speaks English, she is not very well versed in Japanese yet. It's a lot of it, like I said, is lost on the viewers who are watching this only in English or are only reading the manga. And I feel really sorry for people who are so stuck in their ways of only watching dubs, which I know that a lot of fans who are watching this video are like, wait, there are people like that? I knew that there were people who were stuck in their ways of only watching subs, but yes, there are people who will not watch anime unless it is dubbed, which is a bit sad, but yeah. But like I said, this whole battle is rather interesting, and it is making me realize that there is the high possibility that this is actually going to be only 2 episodes long, which is probably the most disappointing of the actual episodes being this short, due to the fact that this is a tie battle. It goes longer than pretty much all of the others. They actually say that it's 20 minutes or whatever, but yeah. This is the only one that goes for a very, very long time. But in all aspects, we're about halfway through the battle already. Obviously, we're not quite there, but the fact still remains that we are close to the end of this. Because already, so this, I believe, yes. So this ends in about, this episode ends in approximately in chapter 204, which goes on to explain basically what is happening with Ida and why he's able to use his power better and all of that jazz. But yeah, surprisingly, this battle is a lot shorter than you'd think. Obviously explaining how he can rip out the freaking exhaust on his legs to be able to, one, go faster, but two, he can go for longer. And it's, honestly, I think that this little technique is completely broken. Obviously, if you read the manga, yeah, you can tell this is broken by beyond belief. But in the anime, they actually get to go a little bit more in depth with how it works, and it's rather interesting. I don't know if they get to go much more in depth, but it is a little bit more clear in the anime how exactly it works, and it's just, if he keeps doing this for years and years, and basically, let's say, in the next, before the war arc, I don't know how much he's actually increased by the time that the war arc happens, because he's hardly involved with that, but he does go very far. He, in all aspects, if he keeps removing these, maybe removes them before the war arc happens, and also maybe he removes them after the war arc and into the Lone Wolf arc, which I actually doubt he's going to be going that far. But if he just doing that, he may be able to use Recipro Burst for an hour before too long. And that is insane to me. At the very least, he would be able to do this by the end of frickin', I don't know, the next war, or I don't know, the next year? Because, like I said, we're entering the new year in the manga. Obviously, things haven't actually started with the new year, but once the Lone Wolf arc is over, they're going into their second year of school. And that is insane. To just think about that these characters are only in their first year, and already Deku is going toe-to-toe with one of the biggest villains in the entire world. Yes, he is not doing this by himself, and hopefully he is not going to be doing this by himself, but the fact remains that this is the biggest villain, people. There's a lot to this, and I don't want to give away too many spoilers, but yeah, I've mentioned before that the Lone Wolf arc might just be the last arc of the anime, or of the manga. There is the possibility that they will actually still continue to going into the second and third year, but at this point we don't know. Deku is way too overpowered for his own good, and that's a bit sad. But we'll see how things turn out moving forward with the series. But for now, we're just gonna have to wait. And honestly, I love this arc. The whole training arc between the two classes is honestly amazing. And considering the fact that soon we're going to be going into the actual battle for Bakugo's battle in either, I believe it's going to be the episode after next, unless they decide to do what I'm thinking, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But we're going to be soon seeing how this whole situation works. And we're going to be seeing Bakugo with his fight, as well as before too long we're going to be seeing the Deku fight, which I'm desperately hoping that this is going to be a 3-episode fight, because the Shinso versus Deku fight is insane to me. I absolutely love this fight beyond really I should. And there's honestly just so much that's going to be happening soon. in this part as well as the next half of the season. Remember, we are only about halfway through the first part. And yeah, I believe we're 6 episodes in right now. I could be wrong about that, but yeah, we're only about halfway through the first half, which that is insane to me that we are this close, this just barely into this arc, and things are insane already. Soon we're gonna have the villain arc, and trust me, a lot of fans are going to be really excited to see this arc. It is one of the best arcs of the manga, as well as the anime, and I'm so excited. A lot of fans, I think that this arc, the villain arc, is considered by most to be the best arc of the manga, except for maybe those who have read the war arc and the and are reading the Lone Wolf arc, because both of those are also amazing. So, yeah, we'll talk more about that as things come up. But, yeah, needless to say, things are getting intense. Now, yeah, so before I go, just a reminder that the next video coming up is going to be the chapter review for the latest chapter. But then, in the next few days, I'm not certain exactly when, I'm going to be releasing my thoughts for what is going to be happening for episode 100 of the My Hero Academia anime, because that's a pretty big deal. So we'll talk about that when it comes up. But anyways, guys, hopefully you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and ring that notification bell. Of course, if you have any thoughts or theories, please make sure to leave them down in the comments below. If you're going to leave a theory, make sure to say theory review somewhere in your comments so that we can talk about it in a future video. Of course, if you do want to support the channel even more, then definitely head down to the description and check out all of our links down there, including our social medias, our other channels, and ways you can support us financially, including our merch store, the book, as well as the Patreon, which a big thank you to our current patron, Sheeny. But anyways, guys, I've been Electro Ninja, and I will see you guys next time. But on!